A majority of Americans say they would tip 15% or less for an average meal at a sit-down restaurant. Nearly 6 in 10, 57%, say this, including 2% who say they wouldn't leave any tip. Only a quarter of people say they tip 20% or more. So,
so let me real quick. I just because I want that was a lot.
Yes,
the vast majority of people tip less than 15%. Is that what I got?
They would tip 15% or less. 57% of the people who participated in this survey, I think I saw maybe
15% or less.
15% or less for an average meal or worse.
That's crazy.
And
that's crazy.
I'll share a story about this too. Sure. Back when I went to Quinnipiac, when I was studying for my worthless sports journalism degree, I was like,
we all did so well.
Yeah. I was on the way to class, but I was like, listen, I'm coming from the Hartford area. It's about a 45-minute drive down there. And I was like, I haven't eaten anything all day. And I just bring like a sandwich and an apple with me. That's not going to satiate.
No.
So I stopped off in I think it was an IHOP. And you can make fun of my decision, but it was like the last diner.
Needs must. I get it.
Over Miami. I get it.
And so
terrible.
I go there and I'm like, I order whatever. Like, I think maybe it was the steak. I don't understand what the fuck I got. But it had like
one was in a dark place.
It was. I remember it came with like those fucking hash browns or whatever that they do, that they're stringy and all that stuff. And the eggs and the hash browns tasted as if they had personally been dunked in the cleaning detergent.
Nice.
And like I had to say something because I was like, listen, I'm not complaining, but if you might run into like a Karen type situation that just ends your day. And I'm just like, I don't want to make a stink. I just want to point this out because if the wrong person comes in, then it's going to be a
turn this IHOP into a Waffle House.
Here's just.
Well, and the nice thing about them too is that they did comp my meal, which was nice. And I kind of like leaned into the waitress. She was very nice. And I'm like, can I still leave you a tip? And then I did. I tipped her like, since it was free, like $2-3. Because it's it's more than zero because it's a $0 fucking bill. So
20% of zero is still zero.
Yeah. So
it's true. Yeah.
Well over that.
Yeah.
I don't care for the premise that you don't leave any tip, even because it's not the waitress or waiter's fault that your food got screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's who you're tipping. You're not necessarily tipping the cook.
Yeah. Well, very often you figure that the tips are not shared with the cook.
Yeah.
I've worked a few places where it's shared throughout. Tip sharing.
There are many.
It's rare, but
it's rare.
At least when I was.
It depends. It depends on the place. I'll say this, and you guys have more experience with this than I do. But my limited experience is that when it's a bunch of, let's be honest, a bunch of Mexicans or Spanish immigrants working in the kitchen, they very rarely get access to the tips.
Yeah.
They're getting paid a low wage for doing the work that they do, which is its own podcast by itself.
I'll speak to when I worked at the restaurant years ago, I was the only white person in the back.
Yeah.
And we did not get tip share.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you get paid like an hourly or whatever you get, you know. But for the most part, it's going towards the person who's like doing the serving. Yeah. And so it's not their fault when the food is fucked up.
Yeah. No, it's just the whole system, man. And it can be, restaurants are complicated, chaotic entities. Yeah. And largely, if you're working the front end, you're the last in line.
Yeah, which is why, like, if something's fucked up on the meal, like, granted, you're not tasting it, but you could typically notice if something's fucking wrong.
Right.
And you should be like, no, I can't bring this out. Like, I get there are food runners and shit, so it's always kind of hard to have that last check.
It's difficult to gauge. Yeah. I will say this, that, for as much as like, because obviously the vibe in this room is one in which, we're describing how people are, how it can go wrong.
Yeah.
And I will say, just to add on to it, and I know that we were going to get there eventually, but it is also a great way to make money with very limited formal education, let's say.
Yeah, it is.
Honestly, some of the smartest people that I meet are bartenders.
Yeah.
Who just literally choose to do the job because it pays well.
It does.
and it's stressful in its own
And you
way.
just have to not be an
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah.
Like, be nice
Yeah.
and not be an idiot.
Yeah, sociable. Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to do it because I'm way more introvert than I.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. First of all, it has its own challenges.
Yeah.
And like, bartender Steve works on Wall Street.
Yeah.
Like, I consider him a very intelligent person. I go over to Lower Bank Tavern and, have conversations about Nietzsche
Yeah.
and, and fucking Jungian psychology with the people who work there.
Yeah.
They're shockingly educated, even just like randomly you walk into a library and people don't fucking know what the fuck they're talking about with that, and it's just like, you find that bartender on a slow night and you can dive into a conversation about like the originations of Jungian psychology in 1870 like you could anywhere else, but that's a great paying job.
Yeah.
Is the point.
Yep.
It pays very
Well,
well
it can be.
based off of the tips.
Yes.
And that's what it is.
You work at the
So-
right bar on a Saturday night, you make a fucking killing.
Yeah.
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 And you only have
The-
to work the weekend
Yeah.
to carry
And be a
yourself.
good
You're
partner.
carry
Yeah,
yourself.
you got to be a
over.
good
be a-
partner.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
But and that goes back to that.
Or
It's
be
that
super hot.
there's some people
That too.
that's of course the thing. Some people carry the team
Yeah.
and some people are the free rider.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what it comes back to. It's that you can make a living doing this because for every person that goes in and it's like, obviously like I glorified what I'll leave. You guys are like, you've worked in the industry,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you leave a good tip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we're all trying to like, do the right thing, basically. Pay people what they deserve to be
Yeah.
paid.
Yeah.
And then make up a little bit for what the other people, aren't doing.
yeah.
But that's just it. That for every one of you,
Yep.
who knows what it's like, there's some other fucking schlub that goes in there who apparently looks like me, but he's white. and he's tipping 70
Oh,
cents
white Pete.
on a $50
You're out there
tab.
somewhere.
Yeah. Imagine being whiter than me, too.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing.
I'm starting to wonder if there is another one of you.
There
Maybe that
is,
is just
But
you.
there are several
Yeah,
of
it's-
varying shades.
Yeah.
Like a colony.
3 versions of me have gotten banned from that bar. Yeah. I'm going through the races and I can't slant my eyes.
I wish you remember what that
there.
poker player's name was that you look very
David Williams.
Dave Williams. That's it. Yeah.
I shockingly remember.
But
I was just gonna go Drake.
Yeah.
oh,
Drake. that
yeah.
motherfucker.
No,
He's Canadian.
It's,
I'm blacker than he is any day.
you are.
Most Canadians are.
The Canadian tax really takes it out of them.
It's not ashy.
After working in the service industry for a long time, and like obviously that was a long time ago for me, but like it can kind of teach you a lot of things. It really teach you about dealing with the nature of people
Yeah.
Yeah.
in general. That's why I always said, I haven't said it on here, but like over the years, like I wish everybody could just had to do like 6 months in
Yeah.
the service
Yeah.
industry. So you would just get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people are just oblivious to it.